Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Nick from Nothing But Niners, joined by Mike, none other than Mr. Gab, I guess you could say. I'm not saying the king part. You know, I don't ever say that. So anyway, guys, look, man, if this is your first time watching us, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button right down there. And if you haven't checked us out on all other social media avenues, check us out. Nothing But 9ERS on Twitter and Snapchat. Nothing But Niners on Instagram and Facebook group page. You can also check us out on nothingbutniners.com. You can find all of our social media there. A ton of great writers over there putting out great content. Teach just actually dropped a good one today. If you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you go over there and visit it and check that out. But Mike, man, I want to get into this talk, man, because you've seen my Twitter, you've seen my worries, you've seen my things that I'm worried about with preseason. I've talked about it on the show. I've talked about it on the podcast. And we always come back to it's preseason. It's preseason. It's preseason. It's preseason. It'll never, it doesn't matter right now. But we've had a couple disagreements, as in it does matter with preseason and it doesn't matter. And I've been both ways. There's certain things to me that matter, and there's certain things to me that don't matter. But we got the final preseason game going on this week. And there's a couple things that I'm interested to talk to you about. But first, go ahead and say what up to the faithful. Let everybody know you're here. Let them see that big 49ers King Gab head over there.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mike, Nothing But Niners here. Guys, check me out on Twitter, man, 49ers Mike _NF. You guys can always get at me. I'm always willing to share my thoughts with you guys. If I'm not busy, that is. You know, I get back to the people, man. I love everybody. Yeah, I know Nick has had a lot of concerns with preseason and all, so we're gonna delve into that a little bit. We're gonna talk about this upcoming game against the Chargers, what to expect, what not to expect. And I think what not to expect is going to be more important than what to actually expect. It's a game where we're not going to see a lot of starters out there. Can't gauge how the offense is going to look or anything like that. So, you know, you're kind of faced with this question of what's the point? Why does the NFL make the teams do this third preseason if you can't gauge anything from it? So I think if there's anywhere we should start, Nick, I think that's it. We got people watching live right now. What are your reasons? Why does the NFL do the fourth preseason game knowing that no one's going to play in it? None of the projected starters, are going to play in it. Let me know what your opinion is on that.
I mean, I think they do the fourth preseason game pretty much because final roster cuts have to be in Saturday. So a lot of teams play on Thursday night if they haven't already played earlier this week. But it gives that extra evaluation point, and instead of playing your starters, getting them ready for week one, you play more of those guys that you need to get that more look at. So, you know, guys that are playing in this game are definitely fighting for a roster spot. So, yes, they're fighting through week one, week two, week three, but maybe they're not getting as much playing time or on-field time as they do in weeks 1 through 3. So week 4 is basically a compilation, I think, of guys that are really, really pushing for that roster spot. And this is their last chance to show what they got and to be able to take that ability to make that 53-man roster. Do I think it's a waste of time for the NFL? I do. I think that the preseason should be cut down to only 3 weeks because I think 3 weeks plus OTAs and training camp is enough time to evaluate. But I don't think it'll ever change.
So if the NFL were to cut down to 3 weeks, don't you think that the third game is going to be the one where the starters aren't playing? Like, that's all they're going to do. They're just going to alter and figure out ways to – I think the reason the starters don't play is because injuries so close to the season taking place, it's just not worth it. And so I think that the reason that they cut these guys or not cut the guys, but the reason that they do this whole, you know, fourth game and we're going to sit everybody is strictly for safety purposes. If the NFL could guarantee that every player would go through week 4 injury-free, I think week 4 of the preseason would be more like the third week of the preseason. And if we were to shorten it down to just 3 games in the preseason, then the third game is going to be the one with all the backups and people fighting for a roster spot. I think one of the reasons I think they do it is for the bubble guys. You know, you got You have 46 players that are going to be active and dressed. You have a 53-man roster. You got a 10-man practice squad. So you're looking at there's three numbers there: 46, 53, and then there's the other 10. So you got 63 guys that you have to evaluate in total. You're hoping to bring some of those other guys back because your practice squad, other teams can mooch off of those guys. So there's not even a guarantee to get those guys back in the first place. So you have to look at it from that perspective. I think I'm hoping, or I think what they're trying to evaluate at this point is the edge guys. If you have, let's say Nick, let's say you and I both play the tight end position, right? We're both going to make the 53-man roster, but you're a better blocker than I am. I'm a better pass catcher than you are. Which guy is going to get used more during the games? If they have to put one of us down, one of us aren't going to make the active 56, but we're both going to be on the 53. I think that's what they're trying to evaluate in games like this. You know what I mean? So who's going to be at? I mean, and I know that kind of fluctuates throughout practice on a week-to-week basis. But now let's say they say, you know what? Nick can be taught to catch better. Mike is never going to be a good blocker, right? So they determine we're going to put Nick on the 46. Mike is on the bubble now for the 53. And then I go out there and pass catching is supposed to be my thing. I completely suck against backups, right? They might actually just flat out end up cutting me and saying, you know what? Ali showed his ass as a pass rusher, so we're going to bring him in. We were going to cut him and try to stash him on the practice squad, but since he looks so good and Mike looks so bad, we'll just go ahead and flat out cut Mike, and we'll bring Ali in. I think it's all about the guys that are on the edge of the roster.
That little analogy used there is kind of actually something I'm interested in. We were talking about it what they were talking about in the room today between Cole, Hicatini, and Wick. I mean, that's something that you should watch to look for right now because, I mean, you know that George Kittle and Garrett Selleck are the two tight ends. You know that Hicatini has been playing more than Wick has been playing. But who is the better one there? Because Wick could be the better blocker, but Hicatini's the better pass catcher. So it's perfect analogy of that you just said. And that's something that we need to look out for in this preseason game is to see who is going to make that 53 bubble or active on the 46. And I mean, like you said earlier too, in the same conversation, you said, that it changes from week to week, practice to practice, but it also changes game to game, depending on situational football. So if you're going up against a team that, you need that better blocker, you're going to put that guy that's a better blocker in. But what it all comes down to really, Mike, and what I'm interested to see this week is we picked up this new running back. You brought the breaking news. If you guys haven't seen that, go back and check it out on our page. What's his name? Jaquan Gardner. That's it, right? Jaquan Gardner. How much is Morris going to play this week? Is Morris going to play this week? Do you think? I don't think he touches the field either. I think he's pretty much a lock for the 53. But those types of players, I'm interested in seeing, does Garnett play? Because Person is supposedly in the front running for that guard position, which is stupid, but which I think that's probably going to be one thing we agree on this show is that Garnett should be starting. But we're not there every day, so we don't really know. But then John Lynch came out today and said that Joshua Garnett is pushing Person for that position. So your GM comes out, overrides what the coach says, and here we are. This is what this preseason game is all about.
It's going to be weird trying to watch these two guys because you're evaluating them against guys who potentially may not even be in the NFL. You know what I mean? So it's going to be rough. I think that so Coach Shanahan came out and he made these statements about Garnett and how he said he was so roundabout and kind of iffy on everything, but they were asking if Person is the locked-in starter, and he was like, "I guess you could say that." It's kind of his job to lose. He wouldn't give a definitive answer. He wouldn't say yes or no. He's given definitive answers about certain players all preseason. You know, there is no debate on who our backup quarterback is going to be. That's locked in. There is no debate on our top 2 running backs. They're locked in. There is no debate on our left tackle. He's locked in. Right? I think what he wanted to say was, right now, on paper, Person is the starter. Joshua Garnett is going to have to earn that even through the rest of preseason. I think in the back of his mind, he likes what Garnett is doing on film way more than what he's seeing from Person. It's hard not to. Joshua Garnett has looked so damn good, man. Like I'm getting excited because I like when I've considered Joshua Garnett an underdog. He came in here with Chip Kelly. Everyone said, "Oh, he's not going to fit the system." Chip Kelly's the guy who wanted him in the first place. He was injured last year. Everyone was like, "Oh, he had a horrible rookie season." So you know me, man. I latch to these underdogs and I start pulling for him like crazy. This guy is going to make it all the way to the top. He's going to be the starter. I can feel it. I'm excited for him. And so I'm anxious to watch them both. You want to see 2 very dominant performances from both of these guys, from Person as well as Garnett. They should thoroughly dominate whoever it is that they're going against. I don't care if it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter. Alternate these guys all game if you have to come up with a definitive answer. But that's what we got to do, and that's what I'm hoping to see.
But do you think they're going to do that? Because, I mean, if Person is really going to be the starter, do you really think he touches the field? I mean, as of week 1?
And that's the tell right there. I don't know if I wrote this in the room earlier or not, but my whole thing was watching Mike Person. If he starts or if he plays, that position is not his. Despite what Coach Shanahan said, how he was, oh, it's his position to lose and all that stuff. They're putting him out there on the field. They have their doubts. They still want to see him be more consistent. You know, the other guard that's supposed to be in the mix is Jonathan Cooper. People laughed at me. People said I was crazy. And I told you guys from the beginning, Cooper is not good just because he came from the Cowboys. Cooper is just a camp body. And everyone's like, no, he's going to push for the starting job. He's going to push for the starting job. Where's he at? I know he's been injured and things like that, and he hasn't worked his way back in, but you're not going to earn a roster spot by being on the sideline. You haven't seen him do anything. There's nothing, absolutely nothing Jonathan Cooper can do in this final preseason game. That's if he suits up. There's nothing he can do that's going to outshine what Person or Garnett have done. It's just not going to happen. So that's going to be one of the cuts right there. I'm 90% sure about that.
All right. So we both kind of just sat here and we talked about the offensive line a little bit and what to look for between that position. So let me ask you this, and I'm going to go through each position, but let's do each position. We already did the offensive line. Let's do the quarterback. All right. Do you think CJ Beathard plays 1, 2, 3? How many quarters do you think CJ Beathard plays? And do you think we see Jack Hannigan come out this game along with Nick Mullins?
I think CJ Beathard plays the first quarter. And that's it, as long as he doesn't get injured. He holds on to the ball for such a long time that he might take a big hit and coach pulls him out early. I think the plan right now is to give him a quarter. And then the second quarter and third quarter, I think, are going to belong to Nick Mullins. And then Jack Hennigan is going to be the fourth quarter quarterback. And his running back is going to be Jaquan Gardner.
Okay. All right. So I kind of agree. I think CJ's, if his foot is good, he's going to get 1 to 2 quarters. All right. So who are the running backs going to run? Who are we going to run this game with running backs? And so let's think you have Gardner, Mostert, Williams if he's better and ready to go. I don't know if he practiced this week or not. Didn't see anything about that. And Gardner, Mostert,
Wilson.
Williams.
Don't forget about my man Wilson.
Wilson Jr. Of those 4, who do you think gets the most touches? Or gets the most playing time, I guess you could say.
Most playing time is going to go to Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson has been killing it. Even when we had McKinnon and Breida and this was before the acquisition of Alfred Morris, Wilson looked good. He came in at the very end. I think it was after who got injured first? Was it Breida or McKinnon? Did they both get injured in the same game?
Same game.
All right, so then he came the following game. So I apologize. But Wilson looked really good. The offensive line couldn't do. I remember McNichols and Williams weren't doing anything, and all of a sudden, the very end of the game in the fourth quarter, boom, we had a run game, and it was Wilson. Then you go to this pass game that we just had against the Colts, and only 2 running backs look good to me. And again, that was Wilson and it was Alfred Morris. So in my opinion, Jeff Wilson is fighting as hard as he possibly can for a roster spot. And I don't know much about the young man, but I am hoping that the 49ers should keep him around. He seems to be decisive. He seems to have burst. He might even have really good hands. He's a rookie, so he's someone who's going to be practice squad eligible. But the way he's been running, man, I would not let him get away. He looks really, really good. I think he's going to be the main ball carrier. I don't see Alfred Morris taking a single snap this week. It's hard to say for sure or definitively that he's earned a roster spot based off of his play in the preseason, but we do know that McKinnon and Breida aren't projected to be back until next week. I didn't see anything about them returning to practice and participating or anything like that today, so I'm going to assume that they're still both sidelined. So our depth chart now is going to be Raheem Mostert, Joe Williams, Alfred Morris, Jeremy McNichols, and Jeff Wilson. Those are the guys out there. So you know you have to take Alfred Morris out of that group. He's going to be the starter that's not playing. So now you're left with Mostert, Williams, who's also injured, McNichols, and Wilson. Those are going to be your 3 guys, Mostert, McNichols, and Wilson. I think Wilson gets the most of the carries. Oh, and Gardner. I forgot about Gardner. My apologies. They might try to hide Mostert, maybe not expose him to these guys. If you know that he's going to be on your special teams and you're making the 53-man roster, we could see this entire game without Alfred Morris and Raheem Mostert, leaving us with just Jeremy McNichols, Jeff Wilson, and Jaquan Gardner.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when Wilson was going out, you're like, at first you're like, who's this? Where's this guy been? I can remember your excitement with him. But no, he definitely does. He definitely does have that burst, the ability to catch out of the backfield, good vision, and he was running well between tackles. So I can't wait to just actually see this run game that we're supposed to have. You know, whether it be Breida, McKinnon, Morris, whoever's in there. I know a lot of people are talking about Morris getting the starting nod week 1. Before we move on to another position, just a quick answer. Do you think that's possible and let McKinnon heal up again, or does McKinnon play week 1?
I'm not confident in McKinnon's running ability in the system. I'm just not. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him work. So Alfred Morris is going to be up week 1 for sure, whether it's injury related or just confidence. Alfred Morris has shown what the 49ers are looking for in a running back. McKinnon has not. Breida, I'm more confident in his running ability than McKinnon's also. McKinnon just makes far too much money to be sidelined. So if he's healthy enough to play, he's going to be in there. But I want to get your opinion, though. What running backs do you think we see in the preseason game, and who gets the most carries? Because you didn't answer it.
All right, well, obviously I think McNichols will get some play because I think he has done some good things when he gets the ball. I'm excited to see him play again and hopefully make this team because I really like McNichols. I think if Joe Williams is playing, or I don't think he is, but if he's playing, I think it's big to see him play. Mostert's got to make up, man. Mostert is a special teams guy right now. I mean, he showed it with that pass that he dropped. I mean, he had a whole lane in front of him. I mean, this guy would have caught the ball. He's probably going 40, 50 yards, maybe even scoring. But Let's see. Gardner, I would expect to get a lot of snaps, but it depends on how much he learns the playbook. Can't really get into what he's going to see because we don't really know how much he's learned so far this year, since we picked him up. It was a late pickup. So I would say McNichols, Mostert, Wilson obviously is going to get a lot of touches. Between Wilson and McNichols are probably going to be the two with the most touches, I think. Then Mostert and Gardner, maybe with the 2s, 3s, and then 4s maybe late in the game. But I think they have to give Gardner an opportunity to show what he has, but it depends on how much he uses for learned from the playbook.
Yeah, I think he was just brought in to be a scrap heap guy. You got to have a certain amount of bodies to play. We figure you want to have 4 running backs up on a preseason game day. And at the current moment, with them knowing that Alfred Morris is going to make the roster, with Joe Williams still being injured, McKinnon and Breida being down, that's 4 guys that aren't going to be there. You expect and anticipate Mostert to make the roster due to special teams alone. So in order to have 4 of those guys, you have to have Mostert in, you have to have McNichols in, you have to have Gardner in, you have to have Wilson in. You're not going to see anybody else, I think. Now, Nick, I did the podcast where I was predicting the running back position, and I had my surprise cut as Matt Breida. Now, my reasoning behind that was Matt Breida is supposed to be the poor man's Jerick McKinnon. We all assumed that Jerick McKinnon was going to be able to come in and run the ball well in this system, and he's going to be an excellent pass catcher. Everyone talked about his cuts, his vision, what he can do when he gets the ball in his hands. We assumed that he was going to be the guy on rundowns also, that he was going to be able to carry the ball. Rodas asked a question in the chat, and he said, do you guys think that there's a slight chance that Matt Breida doesn't make the cut? So Matt Breida was my surprise cut, but only because I expected McKinnon to carry the ball well. I haven't seen that yet. Based off of McKinnon's running ability, I think that Breida is going to make the team because I think Breida is a better ball carrier than McKinnon. Nick, I want to get your opinion on, do you think there's a slim chance at all, that Matt Breida doesn't make this roster?
I don't even have the slimmest. I've never had the slimmest chance. I've always liked Breida. He obviously was being used more over Hyde last year in certain situations. It just goes to show how much the coach has the respect and feel for him. And I think that he can be a 3-down back. Yes, he's small, but I still think that he can run the ball well in between tackles and in space.
Why you got to do me like that? Why'd you have to start your statement with "I've always liked Breida"? This wasn't about me liking or disliking the guy.
No, I'm just saying I could not say a slim chance because I've always had Breida. Like, I've always liked Breida, and I've always felt that he's helped this team. So it's never changed my mind anyway.
Matt Breida to you is how Kendall Hunter was to me a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. So, all right. So we talked about running backs. How many running backs do you think we keep? Just a quick answer. 3 or 4?
I got McKinnon, Breida, Morris, and Mostert right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 4. I'm gonna go. See, the thing is, I don't know about their injury status. They have an opportunity to put these guys on IR, or you know what I mean, which put them injured. So I don't know about their status. If it weren't for Mostert, man, I would have a different guy making the roster. But I don't know. I think they're gonna try to stash. I think they're gonna put Williams back on IR and try to stash him for the year again. I honestly do. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with 4. Last year we carried 3. I think it's gonna be 4 this year. Final answer.
And you didn't have to use the lifeline. Perfect. All right. So I'm not going to use the lifeline either. And I'm going to go with 4 as well. But mine's a little bit different. So I'm going McKinnon, Breida, Morris, and McNichols. I'm leaving Mostert out.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I like Wilson more than I like McNichols. I like Wilson more than I like Williams. I really, really do. Carrying the ball as a running back, as a pure running back, Wilson's been my second favorite all preseason. He really has. He's not going to get the spot because the money tied up with these veterans and things like that. And Matt Breida, it's got the fanfare already. If they can find a way to replace Mostert on special teams, I wouldn't be mad if it was McKinnon, Breida, Morris, and Wilson. Wilson was the best running back we had. I was confident with him before Alfred Morris came in. So.
Okay. Yeah, I still think I'm still sticking with the McNichols just because I like them. I'm sticking with the McNichols, but it could easily go either McNichols or Wilson. I do think Mostert's time is coming to an end.
The problem with McNichols getting cut is that he's got so much time in with the team already. He came in last year, so he's better. He's better versed with the playbook and things like that. So it's just not likely that they're going to cut him for Wilson. But I'm telling you, man, if we put on film and took numbers off right now, Wilson was a better running back. Like if we just if we could watch them run without numbers or names on the backs of their jerseys, I think 10 times out of 10 we're going to pick Wilson as the better running back in preseason. And again, this is why preseason is hard to gauge, because playing against lesser competition than what McNichol was. He was always coming in after McNichol, so the lineups are just so different. It's tough, man. It's tough.
So we both definitely agree finally that Joe Williams' time is either IR or going, right? Hopefully they cut him. That's just my opinion. But all right, so we all agree on 4 receivers. We agree on the 2 quarterbacks.
4 running backs.
I mean running backs, I'm sorry. Receivers is going to be another tight one too. I think we're going to carry – no, actually, let me ask you first. How many receivers do we carry, and who do you think plays this weekend?
7. And the players are going to be let me try to start this backwards. We just cut McCaffrey, or injury settled him. So we're looking at right now Robinson's going to play, which is going to be telling that a veteran – a guy with mad experience in Shanahan's system is going to be playing in a 4th preseason game. He's not going to make the team. But anyway, Robinson's going to be out there. Richie James is going to be out there. Aaron Burbridge is going to be out there. Bourne is going to be out there for sure. I would play Trent Taylor also, just because he's been out for so long. Try to give him a couple of reps and fresh. And I wouldn't play Garcon. Garcon and Goodwin are probably the only safe wide receivers. Everyone else should probably get a rep or 2 at least.
Okay. I agree. I think Richie James, I do agree that we keep 7. And last year we only kept 6, right? So
yeah, last year there were 6 receivers on the 53-man roster. So.
And only 3 running backs.
And only 3 running backs. That's correct.
So we're adding 2 players there, right there off the bat. So trying to think of where that's coming from, where we're taking that position from. You know what I mean? So I think we definitely are going to carry 7 receivers. I think Burbridge will play, obviously. I think Richie James will play. Bourne, I agree. I think I agree with you that Taylor should play some snaps, but I doubt he will. Just because of his, you don't want his back flaring up or something like that before week 1. And I obviously think he makes this team. I think Dante Pettis will be out there. I think the starting 3 will be Dante Pettis, Richie James, and Kendrick Bourne.
Yo, I know that's not what you were trying to end with, but I'm not gonna lie, that starting 3 excites the shit out of me, man. Like, I'm sorry, I really like that starting 3. I know that doesn't include Trent Taylor. I know that doesn't include Pierre Garcon or even Marquise Goodwin. But damn, that excites me, man. Keep going.
Yeah, so I think those 3 will probably start the game off. Pettis, Bourne, and Richie James. Those things, Rhodes says that he thinks Bourne is a lock. I disagree with that. I don't think he's a lock, and I think that's why he's definitely going to play in this game. I think he's going to have to prove himself more in this offense.
Well, you want so I think Bourne makes the roster, but I think he's not a lock. I mean, it's a difference. A lock is a guarantee guy. Like Jimmy Garoppolo's a lock. You know what I mean? But Kendrick Bourne's not a lock at this point. If Aldrick Robinson goes out and he balls out of his mind, and Kendrick Bourne has 7 drop passes, that could be the end of Kendrick Bourne. You know what I mean? What you want to see from guys that you expect to make your 53-man roster are domination in the 4th preseason game. If you have bubble guys who are going to go out there and play, and by bubble, I mean guys who may not make a roster, guys that you like, but you need them to show something, those are bubble guys. And Kendrick Bourne is 100% one of those bubble guys. He's going to have to go out, and he's not just going to have to play decent. He's going to have to dominate. He's going to have to look really, really good against guys who may not be playing in the NFL. Route running. It's going to be not even just what he does with the ball in his hand. He's going to have to get separation. Show that you can separate from these undrafted free agents that are playing for the San Diego Chargers, or for the Los Angeles Chargers, my bad. He's going to have to show things like that. And we already know Aldrick Robinson can get separation. He's one of the fastest guys on the field, especially when you have Goodwin not suiting up. He's going to be one of the fastest guys on the field. So Kendrick Bourne's going to really, really have to earn it. He's going to have to put his foot down. This is his make or break moment for the team. I think he's going to do just fine. I think he's going to make it. He's going to also have to show that he can be a good blocker as well. So I'm anxious to see it. I'm excited to see it. I think he's going to make us all very happy. But we have to see. He has to dominate out there, not just go out and look okay. 4 catches for 42 yards is not going to cut it. He needs to have some yards after the catch. I don't care if it's a 10-yard pass that he catches. He's got to take one of them for 42 yards. He's got to show why he should make this roster. He's going to have to.
Yeah, because Richie James has been showing that. He didn't show it the last game, but he has shown that he can do that. It's funny because I agree with you that we're taking 7. So right now we're at 7 receivers, 4 backs, 2 quarterbacks. That's 13 guys so far out of 53. So I definitely think that Richie James, there has been more hype with Richie James than there has been Pettis. Pettis is definitely, I think, needs to come back and, needs to be able to take more kickoff returns or punt returns because I think he's going to excel in that. And I think that's what's going to help him out as well. Not that he's not a good receiver, but I'd definitely rather keep Richie James, Dante Pettis, because I think they show more promise. I do like Kendrick Bourne. I think Kendrick Bourne can be a top-notch receiver, number 2, number 3 in this league. Not sure about a number 1. I think he's more of a Pierre Garçon type of receiver. If he, strong hands, physical, has that good route tree, all around just a good receiver, but he's got to catch the ball. He's got to hold on to the ball. That's definitely going to hurt him. So Niner Joe says, what about Dunbar and Bolden? They'll get a lot of playing time, don't you think? Yes, I think that Dunbar and Bolden will get playing time this week as well. I just think the top 3 I think the top 3 guys that get play will be Pettis, Bourne, and Richie James. I think they'll be the top 3 that get play. But you also got Burbridge, Dunbar, Victor Bolden. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. David Royce says to me, Garçon is the piece that's interesting. Me and Mike were talking about this before. I think that Garçon is very interesting. Mike had his conspiracy that, Garçon didn't look too happy in his presser and stuff like that, and I agreed with him on one of our podcasts. But it looks like Garçon's coming around. It looks like that him and Jimmy are getting a lot more acclimated to each other. Good thing that Garcon grabbed that shit out of the air, that pass last week, because Goodwin would have got his ass handed to him if he would have caught that ball. But so Mike, how much play do you think Dunbar and Bolden Jr. get with Bolden getting his suspension?
It's kind of weird. I think they're going to play a lot, especially Bolden Jr., but if I was a coach, I wouldn't be putting him out there. I'm not sure that he's going to even make this roster this year. You know what I mean? I think he's going to be safe. I don't think we're going to see his name as a cut because he's giving the team an opportunity to try someone else out. So let's say that they were trying to decide between Victor Bolden Jr. and Stephen Dunbar Jr., right? You can keep both, and it only counts as one roster spot for the simple fact that you have Bolden Jr. with the 4-game suspension. You can keep him, but he doesn't count on your 53-man roster. So you can keep both. You can trot Dunbar out there a couple of times just to see if he can hold up, and if not, they can say, you know what? We like what we saw from Bolden last year. We'll bring him back instead. And you don't have to decide between those two at the same time. So I wouldn't trot him out there because odds are they're not going to cut him anyway, just because he's already suspended for the 4 games.
All right, so you're keeping 7 receivers. Who are they?
All right, here we go. We got Garcon. We have Goodwin. We have Taylor. We have James. We have Bourne. We have Garcon, Goodwin, Taylor, James, Bourne. Oh, what is wrong? I keep forgetting Dante Pettis. Why? I don't know why that's happening to me, but
I know you were like so high on him. You can't keep forgetting him.
We're keeping Dante Pettis, and I'm good with those 6, but I do think we're going to keep 7 for the sake of not cutting Victor Bolden Jr. That's number 7.
So that's changed because you had Burbridge making it before, right?
Yeah, my bad. That's my guy. Burbridge is making the roster. Yes, Burbridge is making the roster. He's going to be the 7 guys that we keep, and then Bolden's also going to be kept, but he's on the suspension list, so he won't count against us. So they're going to start with 8. Yes.
So Aldrick Robinson's gone, right? Dunbar. I'm trying to think of who else.
Max McCaffrey.
Oh, McCaffrey. Well, he's IR'd for injury, so. All right. So my 7 will be Garcon, Goodwin, Taylor, James, Pettis, Bourne. Oh, man. It's a tough one. Goodwin, Garcon, Pettis, Richie James. I'm not keeping Burbridge. Shit.
You're not keeping Burbridge just out of hate.
No. I just don't ever see him playing receiver too much.
It's not about him playing receiver. He's a special teams ace. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I got him making the roster. It's him, McKinnon. I'm sorry. It's him, Bolden Jr., and Mostert. Those are our 3 gunners on special teams.
Yeah.
So you have one of those guys is suspended for 4 games. So you have to keep your other gunner. Burbridge is going to make the roster, bro.
Nah. I'm not keeping a guy on the 53 just because he plays gunner.
That's literally what special teams is about.
I know, but I'm not. I just can't do it. I'm cutting Mostert too. You're going to keep Mostert just because he plays gunner?
No, but I already said that I have Mostert making the team only because of his special teams ability. Now, if they find someone that they think can do it better, then Mostert's not going to make it. But his running ability, which Eric Crocker made a pretty good point the other day when he was trying to defend, like every time he got the ball in his hands, he did something. But I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it. So let me tell you the wide receivers on the depth chart right now. Pierre Garcon, Aaron Burbridge, Dante Pettis, Kendrick Bourne, Stephen Dunbar Jr., Marquise Goodwin, Trent Taylor, Aldrick Robinson, Victor Bolden Jr., and Richie James Jr. So
Aldrick is my number 7.
So you got Aldrick, Trent Taylor, Richie James, Marquise Goodwin, Pierre Garcon, Dante Pettis, and was it Kendrick Bourne?
Yes.
Kendrick Bourne. Okay. Yeah, so the only difference one that we have is you're keeping
instead of Burbridge and Robinson. That's the only two difference.
Yeah.
Because Aldrich has been playing well with the good quarterback play. I know. Roll your eyes. It's okay.
So you asked me a question about, since we added a running back and we added a wide receiver, what positions we're going to cut. Now, we didn't break down the entire offensive line. So last year, the 49ers kept 4 offensive tackles. This is where it gets interesting. First of all, this year, I think we're only going to keep 3. All right. So Joe Staley is obviously going to be 1. I don't know if they're going to keep Gary Gilliam yet, but we know that Mike McGlinchey is going to make the roster. They could possibly keep Gary Gilliam because he's a swing tackle. Supposedly he goes both ways. He sucks no matter what, but he goes both ways. They like that in him. I think that's the 3. That's the 3 tackles that we keep, because if you're looking at tackles right now, we have Joe Staley. I think Pace Murphy is still out there. Darrell Williams Jr. is out there. Mike McGlinchey, Gary Gilliam, and Andrew Lauderdale. Lauderdale hasn't impressed. Gary Gilliam has been injured. Darrell Williams Jr. is the guy that I had making the roster when I first did the breakdown. I like this guy, but he struggled at times. He's shown flashes of why he could be good, but he's someone that's going to need more time to develop. So I could see them cutting him, and I'm not even going to say bringing him back on the practice squad. Just going to hope that he goes out and keeps working his ass off and then bring him back later on if needed. So I got Joe Staley, Mike McGlinchey, and Gary Gilliam as a 3, not 4, the 3 tackles that we keep this year. So that's one position that we clean up some mess.
Okay.
You disagree with that?
No, I can agree there. The Williams thing kills me though, bro. That one play where he just put his head down and the player was just like just threw his hands to the ground. He lay flat on the ground. I can't get it out of my head. I can't. I
said he struggled. Yo. You know, the 49ers, they made some questionable plays that I watched back this year. Like the one sack that we got on Andrew Luck this last game, right? Atauchi was accredited with it. But did you see
Solomon Thomas, my man said, boop.
he ran into him, no arms,
bro,
no shoulders.
He didn't have him up like this. He was like,
yeah, arms straight down. He ran chest first and Andrew Luck like, take that. Like, what the hell was he doing? I don't get it, man.
To be one with the Dolphin, you need to talk like a Dolphin. That's all he did. I was like, what the fuck?
You know what was crazy though about that sack? All 4 of our defensive linemen touched Andrew Luck on that play. That was amazing. I watched that play so many times to make fun of Solomon Thomas, but I realized that every single one of our down linemen touched Andrew Luck on that play, and then Atauchi finished it up and officially got the sack. 5 people touched him to bring him down, and that's why we have so many missed tackles. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so the guard position, okay? We have Laken Tomlinson, Mike Person, J.P. Flynn, Chris Gonzalez, I believe, is still there, Joshua Garnett, Jonathan Cooper, Coleman Shelton, and Najee Turan. All right, now last year when we did this for the offensive guards, we kept 3. I think we're going to keep 3 again this year. You need left, you need right, and you need someone who can swing. So my guards for this year are going to be as follows: Mike Person, Laken Tomlinson, and Joshua Garnett. Any disagreement from you there, Nick, or no? Because if not, we won't waste time. We'll just keep it rolling. You know what I mean? I don't see why that would be a big deal. But we're not making roster room there for the extra wide receiver or running back.
I agree. You're on mute.
Oh, shit. That takes care of the offensive line. We talked about wide receivers. We talked about running backs, how we're adding guys. All right, so what's the next position group you want to take care of? We know that there's 2 quarterbacks. Head coach came out and said that as much. We got to flip it to the defensive side. Or really quick, I guess just to acknowledge him, Kyle Juszczyk is going to be the only fullback that we keep. So I'm predicting 4 running backs and a fullback.
All right. Just real quick. Tight end. 2 or 3? I mean, I'm going 3.
Yeah, it's got to be 3. It's got to be 3. Kittle's too injury prone, and not for nothing. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say injury prone because I don't want people to think, oh, Mike hates George Kittle. George Kittle gets dinged up a lot. He played through a lot of injuries last year, and Selleck has also had back issues as well. A lot of people are going to act like they don't remember that, but Selleck had back issues as well. So you absolutely got to keep 3. Who are the 3 that you're keeping, Nick? Right now on the roster at the tight end position, we have the list as follows. Okay. So we have George Kittle, Garrett Selleck, Cole Hikatini, Cole Wick, Ross Dwelly, and Wes Saxton.
All right, I'm going Kittle, Selleck. Oh, man. This is a hard one. Between Wick and Hikatini, and I'm going to have to stick with Hikatini.
I like your 3. All 3 are familiar with the system. I'll let that go. You know what, this doesn't bode well for blocking tight ends. Our best blocking tight end right now is, without a doubt, George Kittle. I think Garrett Selleck took a step back. At one point, he was looking really good as a blocker, but he hasn't been doing it a lot as of late. And so I'm not saying he hasn't been doing it. He's been blocking, but just hasn't looked as good. He hasn't instilled any confidence in me. I would like the team to try to keep Dwelly, man. I like the 6'5" frame, man. I like the 6'5" frame. I know the popular thing is for people to cut Cole Hikatini, but we know for sure that Kittle isn't going anywhere. Cole Wick is 6'6". I think that's why a lot of writers are saying, oh, we're going to keep Wick instead of Hikatini. They're just doing that based off of size. I wouldn't be surprised if Garrett Selleck got cut. Talk to me about that shit. You tell me. What are your expectations for Garrett Selleck this season?
My expectations are high for him just because of the way he ended last season. This guy has pushed and grind through so many different coaches, so many different systems. I just think that I still think he's an average player. He's better than a Vance McDonald. So as a backup, running certain types of plays and stuff like that, I don't mind keeping him. I just think my expectations are high for him only because of the way that he's pursued through all these coaches and the way that he started playing last year with an actual quarterback. He looked well. So my expectations are high.
Can you hear me? If I'm not mistaken, Garrett Selleck also led the team in touchdown receptions last year, didn't he? He had 4. Led the team with 4. So, I mean, it's not going to be easy to just let go of the touchdown reception leader. So, yeah, give a guy a motion from Jimmy Garoppolo, and all of a sudden he's a fan favorite. It's crazy. No one was talking about Selleck before, and now all of a sudden he's a fan favorite because Jimmy Garoppolo pointed to his wrist during the play. So,
I heard somebody say the other day. Oh, I think it was Kev, AKA Mr. Niners on Mine, said in his video, he said, Selleck, you got to get that watch calibrated, bro. He's like, because you dropping those passes.
Oh, shit.
So, guys, if you haven't checked out Kev Mitchell, a.k.a. Mr. Niners on Mine,
49ers
Silverado Kev, check him out on YouTube as well. He is also a partner of Nothing But Niners writer over here. But he does put out some good videos as well. So make sure you guys go over there and subscribe to him as well. But, yeah, when he said you got to get that watch calibrated, Kittle, I was done. I just couldn't stop laughing. I think between Kittle and Selleck will lead this team this year in red zone touchdowns. I'm hoping if we score red zone touchdowns. But I know. I'm not getting into that tonight because it gets me so frustrated. My face turns red and I turn into like a nasty looking something. But I'm not going there.
People don't know what you're talking. Nick thinks that the team can't score in the red zone, guys, and I keep telling him to relax. He said in the group chat today that he wants to see 50% or better scoring. In the last 3 games, the 49ers scored on 60% of their red zone possessions. It's just
last year, the last 3 games.
Yeah, with Jimmy Garoppolo, which is
he
only started 5 games for us.
All right. So look, this just hear me out.
This is the one time you're taking too much into what you're seeing in preseason, bro. Like he didn't even have his starters out there with him. You can't do that, man. You can't buy into it.
I understand that, but when you're playing 2 quarters and another third snap going in the third quarter, and you only put up 1 touchdown is horrible. In 2 games. You can sleep on it all you want. Everybody out there that's not worried about the red zone efficiency, and when I mean red zone efficiency, I'm not just meaning players. I'm talking about execution, penalties, drop balls, missed opportunities. It's all part of red zone efficiency. We did that. But it's okay that these other teams are just marching down the field and scoring, but it's okay because it's preseason. It's okay. It doesn't matter whether we win, lose, tie, draw. It's okay because it's preseason. When last year our red zone efficiency sucked until the last 3 games, probably I'll go with 3 games just because you gave me numbers on that. But then it's picked up right where it's been left off. You got to tell me that with this offense marching up and down the field, leading entire preseason in yards, at the top of the list in entire preseason, but no touchdowns. We only have 18 points scored. That's bad. That's bad.
Let me give you a quick diagnosis of that. It's not bad. All right. The starters, the guys who played the last 3 games of the season for us, got touchdowns on 60% of their drives. We're not talking about scoring efficiency. We're talking specifically touchdowns. They scored at a way higher clip than that down in the red zone. Obviously, most teams do. Okay. They got touchdowns 60% of the time in the last 3 games. Those last 3 games were against the Rams, against the Jaguars, which at the time was the best defense in the league, and then against the Texans. Right? It was the Texans last, right? Yeah. It was the Texans, Jaguars, and Rams, right?
No, Titans.
Oh, Titans. I'm sorry. And the Titans also, that's what it was. The Titans were the top sacking team or something like that for the previous 3 weeks before that. So the Titans had a good defensive line. We shitted on them. The Jaguars had a good defense, the best defense in the league at the time. We shitted on them. And then we went up against the Rams backups. Those numbers are going to skew everything, whatever. So 60% scoring there. All right. So here's what you should take away from it. Yeah, it doesn't look good right now. The Niners are trying things. That's what's happening in preseason. You experiment. Preseason is an extension of practice. Okay. Players take it a little bit more serious because you're going up against someone else. The coaches look at it as practice. They don't put all the weight into it the fans do because you shouldn't. All right. The yards means that the offensive system is great. No matter if it's first string, second string, third string quarterback, we're going to march up and down the field at will. Okay. I understand the whole thing about penalties, especially from the starters in the red zone. That's not a good look. That's something that we have to absolutely clean up. I'm not arguing with you about that. There's nothing worse than getting there and then going backwards. I understand that. But we'll get it together, man. Kyle Shanahan runs a complex offense, and you look at the numbers from the teams that he's played with previously in their first season. You look at the 2015 Falcons. They just didn't look good. They didn't look as good. Matt Ryan had like 21 touchdowns and like 14 interceptions or some shit like that. It wasn't good. And to me, Jimmy Garoppolo is in year 1 of that system now. I don't count last year as a year in that system. So it is what it is.
I'm just surprised that you're making excuses. Like, because we had this conversation before, and you're like, when I was like, Mike, it's preseason. It doesn't matter on certain things. And you're like, yes, it does. Everything matters in the preseason. But now you're telling me red zone doesn't matter in the preseason.
Well, when you were talking about red zone, when you and I were talking about red zone, you were specifically talking about we're not getting touchdowns. I said I agree with you on the penalties. I think that Marquise Goodwin lining up on the first play of the game and getting a penalty on it for us, that's a problem. You know what I mean? When other players do things like that, I absolutely agree that's a problem. I said the penalties are something that we have to get better at. But specifically about scoring, I'm not worried about the scoring part.
All right. Well, you can honestly sit here and tell me week 3, you're going to be saying that you're going to be like, oh, our red zone efficiency is fucking 60%. You got to score against the best teams. You think we're going to score 60% against Minnesota? Just because it's not because it's not preseason anymore?
Yes, I do. I'm very confident, and if we can get down there, we're going to score, bro. We're going to score. Your favorite player on the team, I'm talking tongue in cheek, but Trent Taylor is one of the guys you love. Trent Taylor is the best at getting separation with 3 steps. No one in the league is doing it better than him right now. You know what I mean? In 3 steps, Trent Taylor is getting a yard of separation. He's going to do that shit. And you're telling me that in the red zone, we're not targeting Trent Taylor? He wasn't targeted in red zone all last game. You're telling me that you have a running back that's averaging 7 yards a carry and you're at the 10-yard line. You're not going to run it one time with him?
No, he was targeted. He had a touchdown.
No, not in the last game. He did. That was the game before.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of Houston game. My bad.
Yeah. But my point is that the team was clearly trying things. They weren't going all in or all out the way that you want them to. I understand your thing, and I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just looking at the obvious. Trent Taylor's good in confined spaces. And the running game was amazing, and we abandoned the run. We went for it on 4th down. We purposely left points on the board to experiment. That's what preseason is for. That's why I'm not panicking. The penalties, especially penalties pre-snap, that's a problem. So holding penalties are going to happen from time to time. They can literally be called anytime on any snap in any game. So I'm not going to kill the team about that. But, formation penalties, that shit's got to stop. That's just weak, especially from the starting units. You know what I mean? So I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our red zone efficiency will get better if our execution down there gets better. I'm not saying that I don't have trust or confidence in Kyle Shanahan's scheme or the players running it. But the stupid mental mistakes still kills you. If you're not putting the ball in the end zone because of penalties or you're getting pushed out of, touchdown territory and kicking 3, we can't afford to lose 3, 4, 5 games by 3 points again this year. When we get down there, we have to punch the ball in, and that's just what I want to see. Was I happy when we went down on Houston and just scored the very first time? Absolutely, because that's what I want to see out of our offense every single time. You're great from the 25 to the 25, but once you get down there, you got to capitalize. The penalties, the holding calls, the drop balls, the lack of execution is precision and equals touchdowns. They got to play better. Like, that's what I'm so worried about right now. If you look back, every time we were in the red zone this year in preseason, something took us back. And then you're like, and you said to me, well, it's 4th down now. We're giving up 3 points just to try something new. Fine. That's fine. But execute and get the first down. It seems like when the field gets more compressed, our team struggles.
All right, but you have to look at what we've done to address that. Trent Taylor is a good guy in confined spaces. You agree?
Yeah.
All right, and we talked about who the best 2 players were in NCAA. She dropped the bobo. Who the best 2 players were in NCAA, the most productive guys. We have the second guy, Richard James, also really good in confined spaces, right? You agree with that? Okay. Then there's Dante Pettis, who worked really, really well in the red zone in the NCAA. I know all the hype was about the return ability, but in the red zone, he was one of the most efficient wide receivers in all of college last year. We weren't looking at packages with these guys out there on the field. And our coach flat out said, I'm not going to run plays that I'm going to run in the regular season, because if they work in preseason, they're not likely to work in the regular season.
Right. And I'm not complaining about play calling.
I know, but
you guys keep bringing up players and play calling and look at who we have and look at Kyle Shanahan and the way he designs plays and look at Trent Taylor, the way he gets separation. I'm not talking about any of that. I have 100% confidence in the guy calling the plays and the guys on the field. 100%. But the stupid, idiotic penalties, getting down in the 20s, is retarded. The execution is horrible.
You can't say retarded, bro. Come on, man.
Okay, sorry. It's dysfunctional. I have a dysfunctional family, so I'm allowed to say that. But you got to understand where I'm trying to come from. I'm not trying to say that this is a smash. I really think that Kyle Shanahan will get this fixed. I really think the offense will get it fixed. But it's been so long since I could actually say I was 100% confident in us scoring in the red zone every single time we're down there. And I know there's 2 teams last year that were 100%. I mean, it's very rare to happen. But if we could be in the 60, 80 all year long, instead of ranked 27th in the 38% away from home, I'll be happy. But we can't keep fluctuating 38%, 50%, 60%, 20% this game, 80% that game. Like, I understand their games. Every game is different. But if you go back and look at every time we didn't score and took a field goal, we were in red zone on the 10, first and, 10 yards to go with 4 plays to do it, and we still come out with 3 points. To me, that's an issue.
Are we moving on to the defense now?
Yeah, so we won't go all through the defense, but let's just base on, man, I don't know. We might have to go defensive line too, because that's going to be an interesting one.
So there's defensive tackles and there's defensive ends. Last year, we kept 4 defensive tackles and 6 defensive ends. This year, I think we cut down on that number. I think we only keep 5 defensive ends and maybe 3 defensive tackles. I think this is where we see a difference. Maybe not. No, I'm going to give us 4 defensive tackles. I think 6 defensive ends, though. 5 defensive ends. So this will be a spot where we also create room for on the roster. If you look at last year's roster, what the team was able to do, we kept at the defensive tackle position. And again, keep this in mind, last year, Forrest Buckner, Earl Mitchell was the nose tackle, DJ Jones is the nose tackle, and Tank Carradine was opposite side defensive tackle. Defensive ends that we kept last year, Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, Elvis Dumerville, Ronald Blair, Aaron Lynch, not an outside linebacker. Aaron Lynch is a defensive end, and Peter Talmopino. All right? So this year, I think we're going to maybe just keep 5 defensive ends and 4 defensive tackles. So do you want me to give my guys that we're going to keep now? You want me to keep going? All right. So on the depth chart right now at defensive ends, we have Eric Armstead, Ronald Blair, Julian Taylor. Let me see. That was right defensive end. Where's left defensive end? Solomon Thomas, Cassius Marsh, Jeremiah Tauchu, Dakota Watson. Now, this by far is the most talented position on this entire roster. I want to start by saying I would be happy with every single one of these guys making this roster. But alas, we can't. If I have to only keep 5 of them, I'm keeping Eric Armstead. I'm keeping Solomon Thomas. I'm keeping Julian Taylor. I'm keeping Ronald Blair. That's 4, which means I have to choose between Cassius Marsh, Jeremiah Tauchu, and Dakota Watson if I'm only going to keep 5. And if that's the case, I want to go with Jeremiah Tauchu. And it's crazy because I really, really like Watson. I really think that Marsh has potential, but we're not going to keep all these guys. So if I'm going to cut down to 5, those are going to be the 5 I'm going to keep.
All right, give them to me again.
The 5 that I'm keeping?
Yep.
Solomon Thomas, Jeremiah Tauchu, Eric Armstead, Ronald Blair, and Julian Taylor.
All right, I agree to a point. As much as I hate to say this, I think Ronald Blair is done, bro.
Get the
I do. I really do. And you know how much I love Ronald Blair. Ronald Blair's done, bro. I'm staying everything the same as you have, but I'm keeping Watson.
Here's the reason you got to keep Ronald Blair. Ronald Blair. All right, so maybe we don't. Maybe this is where you keep 6, Nick. You keep 6, and we'll look for a different position where we can cut down, because corner and safety is going to be a position I think we're going to cut down. By the way, I think safety for sure we're going to cut down on also, but we'll get to that in a second. Because Ronald Blair is probably the most diverse guy on the defensive line.
No, and I totally agree, and I just think that he hasn't gotten that opportunity. As to why, I'm not sure. I mean, you see him a little more and more each week, but he should have been out there playing like pretty hardcore by now for everything that he's gotten from the playbook last year to this year.
he's been getting his snaps, and he's been doing all right, man. Like he hasn't been playing bad. I don't want people to think that at all. Now, if we were to keep 6, if I get a chance to add one more, I'm going to add Cassius Marsh and not Dakota Watson. If you get a chance to add one more, who are you adding? Because we both did it based off of 5. I had Armstead, Blair, Taylor, Thomas, and Atauchu. You had Thomas, Atauchu, Watson, Armstead, and Taylor. If you get the chance to add one more, who are you adding?
Cassius Marsh.
So even still, you're not keeping Ronald Blair.
Yeah.
Ronald Blair is your 8th defensive end for the 49ers. You're fucking insane, bro. That is crazy. I didn't mean to curse that hard. My bad.
You can't say that. No, but Mike, you know that kills me. That's like putting a heart like. But I just had to me, he hasn't been proving himself in practice to get on the field, so it's for a reason. Something's going on. When he's out there, do I like him? I've loved him since he's come in the NFL. But I just can't do it. And plus Marsh and Watson both play special teams.
So what? So what? Timeout. No, bro. I'm not gonna let that slide, bro. Julian Taylor's a rookie. They can put him on special teams if they want to. Ronald Blair is what, second year guy? He came from Appalachian State last year. He can play special teams. That's not gonna work. I'm sorry. I'm not passing on that. All right, defensive tackle. We kept 4 last year. DeForest Buckner, Earl Mitchell, DJ Jones, and Tate Carradine. Right now, we have Earl Mitchell and Jones, and then we have. Why do they make tackles so hard to find on the depth chart? DeForest Buckner, Sheldon Day, Will Sutton, and Niles Scott. Who are the tackles you are keeping this year? Earl Mitchell, DJ Jones, DeForest Buckner, and Sheldon Day. This is an easy one for me. You want me to go first? You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
I'm only keeping 3 of these guys. Earl Mitchell don't make the roster. That's a surprise cut right there. DJ Jones, DeForest Buckner, and Sheldon Day. Those are my 3 tackles. Boom. Now I can keep my man Ronald Blair. No problem. That's it. I love it. That's book. What do we need Earl Mitchell for? He doesn't do anything that DJ Jones doesn't do. Nothing at all. And Jones might be better. Will Sutton and Niles Scott. Who? Yeah, I rest my case.
Huh? All right. I'm staying with the 4 there. I'm keeping Mitchell. I'm keeping Mitchell, Day, DJ Jones, and Jones, Mitchell, Day. Who am I missing? Somebody.
There is Solomon Thomas.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Buckner.
Buckner, yeah, my bad, Buckner.
I'm cutting Buckner. No, I'm just joking. Oh wait, I wasn't on mute for that. My bad, faithful.
What position you want to go to next?
Let's go to corners.
Corners? All right, so we kept 5 corners last year, and they were Rashard Robinson, Dante Johnson, Kawan Williams, Akello Witherspoon, and Keith Reeser. God, we had a trash-ass group. Rashard Robinson, gone. Dante Johnson, gone. Keith Reeser, gone. Jesus, Christmas crackers, man. That is horrible. That is horrible. All right, so this year at corner, oh, man, I'm so glad changes happened. We got Richard Sherman. We got Akello Witherspoon. We have Greg Maben, Jimmy Ward, Tyvis Powell, Tavarius Moore, Emmanuel Mosley, and Tavares McFadden.
Oh.
Want me to go first?
What did we keep last year? 4?
We kept 5.
5 last year?
Yep. You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right, knock it out, man.
Obviously, Akello, Sherman, Kawan. Oh, the next 2 are going to be hard. Let's go Moore. And let's go Powell. Yeah, they're my 5.
You don't have McFadden making the roster?
No.
You have Maben making the roster over Powell?
No, I have Powell making the roster.
That's what I. God damn it. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
You have Powell making the roster over Maben?
Yeah.
Have you been watching preseason?
Yeah. I think Powell looks better. I think Powell's made some mental mistakes, but I think he's looked better overall.
Yo, you need to stop drinking while we're watching the games, bro.
I don't drink when I watch the game.
I hated Maben, and Maben looks so much better than Powell this year. It's not even funny. All right. Well, if I got to keep 5 of these guys, Richard Sherman, Ahkello Witherspoon, Jimmy Ward. Oh, you know what? I'm going to let you do this again. You don't have to count Kawan because Kawan is considered a nickel. So you don't have to count Kawan. So let me give you your 5 again. I apologize. Our corners are Richard Sherman. I didn't name Kawan. You just threw him in there.
You named Kawan.
He's not listed here as a left or right cornerback. All right, we got
when
Richard
you said
Sherman.
last year's.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So we have Richard Sherman, Ahkello Witherspoon, Jimmy Ward, Greg Maben, Titus Powell, Tavarius Moore, Emmanuel Mosley, and Tavares McFadden, who are the 5 you're keeping.
Say the first 3 again, you said? Kello, Sherman.
All right, so the list that I'm looking at, they didn't distinguish between cornerback and nickel. So never mind. We'll keep your list the way it was. All right. So I'll stick with that. All right.
Yeah, but I think okay. Yeah. Let's keep it that way.
All right. So let me see if I can find 5 here. So you got Kawan, Ahkello, and Richard Sherman. All right. Sherman, Witherspoon, and Williams. That means I can only choose 2. I'm going to take Jimmy Ward, and I'm going to take Tavarius Moore. Not Greg Maben, not Titus Powell, not Emmanuel Mosley. I love that dude. And not Tavares McFadden. But that's
so you're keeping McFadden off too.
That's horrible. Nah, man, I'm bringing another guy in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm taking Moore. I want more McFadden. Oh, I got room. I cut down on an extra roster spot you didn't cut down on, so I got room on mine.
Where?
I cut down on the tackles. I got Earl Mitchell, Buckner, and Day. I only kept 3 when last year we kept 4. You kept 4, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I meant DJ Jones, Buckner, and Day. Those were the guys I kept.
Yeah.
And last year on the defensive tackles we kept 4. I made room there, and then at the defensive end we kept 6 last year, and on the ends I kept Thomas, Atauchu, I kept Armstead, Blair, and Taylor. I only kept 5 of those, so I made room. So right now I got an extra roster spot.
No, you added one.
No, I never went back to Watson. I never went back to Marsh. I kept Atauchu over Marsh, and I said Watson don't make it because we can use anybody else in special teams.
Yeah, but then you added one. You brought Blair back.
Yeah, no, Blair was included. Solomon
Okay.
Thomas and Atauchu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Armstead, Blair, and Taylor.
Okay,
those are my 5. And we kept 6 last year. So I got an extra roster spot. So boom, I'm good. All right, so here we go. So now we got free safety and safety. Last year we kept 5 safeties.
So did you keep Ward?
Huh?
You kept Ward?
Yep. I kept Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward's making this roster, bro.
So you're keeping 6 DBs?
No. Yeah. I did. I had 6. Let me look at this again. Kawan Williams, Ahkello Witherspoon, Richard Sherman, Jimmy Ward, Tavarius Moore, and Tavares McFadden. Yeah. I kept 6. Now, I will say that last year, as far as safeties, we kept 5. Jimmy Ward, Eric Reed, Jaquiski Tart, not Jaquiski. There's no A at the end of it. Jaquiski Tart, Lorenzo Jerome, and Adrian Colbert. Those are the 5 guys that made the roster. So this year, there's only 6. So you technically only have to get rid of 1. Adrian Colbert, DJ Reed Jr., Marcel Harris, Dexter McCoyle, Jaquiski Tart, and Anton Exum. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Marcel Harris is here. Yeah, that's it. You really only got to get rid of 1. But McCoyle ain't going to be here, and neither is Anton Exum. So you got an extra roster spot if you want to go back and add somebody else. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to answer for you. My bad. Go ahead. Handle your business.
Obviously Colbert, Tart, Harris. What, I have 4 spots, right? 5? Harris, Tart, Colbert. What's the young rookie's name again? I keep forgetting his name.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
I'm sorry about that, man. DJ Reed. He's a safety.
DJ Reed. Yeah, I like DJ Reed. Plus, he's good with special teams. So that's 4. Doesn't McFadden play safety too? He played both in college.
So McFadden was a safety that they're transitioning to corner. He's not listed on the team depth chart at safety at all. But you already – oh, I see what you're doing. Let me be quiet. Go ahead and cook, Nick. Go ahead and cook, Nick.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring him back as a safety because he can play there or corner, and it gives him time to transition more for corner during practices. It's not a 4-week, 5-week type thing. And if something happens to Colbert or Tart, he can come down and play as well.
Okay. All right. So
he was a safety though in college, right? He did play safety and corner.
No, I don't know if he played corner in college, but I know he was a safety that they converted to corner this year. So I like you, but I got him making it anyway. So we good either way. We got a lot of the same guys here. I think our differences are you kept Marsh. I think I moved on from Cassius Marsh. Right? Who else did you keep that I didn't keep?
I moved on from Blair.
Yeah, you're silly. You're a silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I kept Wilson, I think, right? Did I keep Wilson? No, I said he wasn't going to make it, but I think he should. And I had Burbridge making it. You didn't.
Yeah, I had Robinson.
And again, like we said in the very beginning, there's like 2 guys that are on the bubble. That's the 2 differences we got right there. So that's really what it comes down to, man. This is going to be a lot of fun, Faithful. I'm looking at some of the comments. I see some people saying, oh, Ronald Blair hasn't done anything in preseason. Listen, guys, everything is not based off of preseason. No, we are not cutting Julian Taylor. He will get scooped up quicker than you can smack your mama. Julian Taylor is here to stay. He's not going anywhere. Watson is a camp body. I would say that if I was confident in the other guys, but Atauchu and Marsh don't instill any confidence in me. Did we discuss Peter Talapinu? I feel like we didn't say his name this entire exercise.
Poor Peter.
Did we mention him at all?
Yeah.
Did we keep him?
No.
Yo, bro, Peter's not listed on the depth chart right now. I'm looking at Sam linebackers. They got Mark Nazaucha. They got him listed twice. Mike is not crazy. Let the screen focus, and you guys will see it. Hold on. Focus, focus, focus. You see Sam. Mark is listed twice. All right.
I don't go by their thing anyway because it's always fucked up. Yo, you know what, though?
I don't think we listed Peter, bro.
Coach Tim's right. Coach Tim's right. He said that Moore was the one who played safety.
That's what we said.
No, we said I said McFadden. I thought I got them 2 mixed up. Moore was the one who played safety in college and is converting to a corner.
Yeah. All right. I got to wrap this thing up, man. My wife is going crazy in the background. I don't know if you heard any of that. So
yeah, I'm not getting you in trouble. But all right.
Quick. There's one more camp battle that's happening that we didn't discuss, and it's between the punters Bradley Pinion and Jeff Lockie. Who do you got making it?
I got Pinion.
Likewise, I'm sticking with Pinion. And then the long snapper, we got Kyle Nelson. He's going to make the roster again. when the hell are the Niners going to move on from him? He's been in the league for like 12, 13 years, bro. Like, when are we going to move on from Kyle Nelson?
Hey, he does his job, man.
He does it well, though. He does it
You know
well.
what it is? It really depends on what the kicker's like. I mean, the kickers and the holders, like, they're probably the ones that value them, and he's good at what he does.
Yeah, he's been in the league for 7 years. He's been doing his job very well. So I got no beefs with him. Keep up the good work, man. I'm done, man. I got nothing else to say.
Thank you. Guys, thanks for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure as always, man. But guys,
subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button. I got that Adrian Colbert number 38 jersey autograph waiting for that 3,000 subscriber, so I can pick one of you lucky fans to win. Make sure you get us there. Share the love. Spread the news. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Set the bell for notifications. Check us out on nothingbutniners.com for all of our social media avenues. We have Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and also our podcast avenue, guys. And we'll be bringing back the special Behind Enemy Lines this year also, so make sure you tune in for that as well. And then SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play. We're everywhere for our podcast, guys. Check us out. Also, that's it for me, man. Above all else, stay faithful. We out. Go Niners.